Hey friends, what's up? I'm Alexander Ailing. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hello, welcome. It is a strange time we are living through. And life right now, for me personally, is crazy. It's crazier than it's ever been. So many things happening. And yet, in all of the wild, weird, strange happenings in my life, I feel centered, calm, and content. Come on, I'll show you why. You see, it's all too easy to just get sucked into the vortex of negative thinking. There's so much going on in the world, and yet there's so much to be happy about and so much to be grateful for. I find myself falling back on the tried and true methods in my life that help me feel grounded and content. Waking up in the morning, having a good cup of coffee, moving my body for 30 minutes to an hour, coming back inside, having a game plan for the day, and executing it. That means by the time the night rolls around, I feel like I have accomplished something and I feel like I've made the most, carpe diem, of the day. And for me, coming outside here and taking a moment in between the tasks that I'm doing or the things that I'm working on or trying to achieve, and just recentering myself is one of those things. One of the other things that really helps me in times like these is therapy. So I haven't really had a moment to just sit down and chat with you and kind of bring you all up to speed with all the things that have been happening here on the homestead, as well as some of the things that have been happening in my personal life. It has been a wild couple of months since the moment we left the homestead in the beginning of May. California, Canada, Nevada, Arizona, a big road trip, and then we came right back here and my parents came and visited for the first time since we moved to New Zealand. So we were hosting them here on the homestead, and it was just really wonderful to have them down here and for them to be able to kind of experience what our life is like in this new chapter. But it's also been pretty difficult. At times, I felt quite overwhelmed. First off, I'd like to say thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. I feel like making an analogy to kind of paint the picture of what therapy is for me. I look at it like getting my car serviced. We just got our car serviced about a week ago. It had been doing a lot of hard work, many kilometers, because going to therapy is just like taking your car in to get serviced. It's routine upkeep. Doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It just means that you have a chance to check in with yourself. BetterHelp is customized online therapy with video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. You just fill out a questionnaire to help assess your own specific needs, and you get matched with a therapist in less than 48 hours. Then you schedule secure video and phone conversations, plus unlimited messages with your therapist, and everything you share is completely confidential. I really love having the ability to send messages to my therapist Orencio, because sometimes things pop up and I want to talk about them, but I also don't want to get on the phone to talk about them. So being able to send a quick message and get a detailed answer has been really helpful. And if you're not feeling the vibe with your therapist, you can request a new therapist at no additional charge anytime. In fact, so many people are using BetterHelp that they're actually actively recruiting new therapists in all 50 states. So what are you waiting for? Join the 2 million plus people who have taken charge of their mental health with BetterHelp. You can get 10% off your first month by using my link, www.betterhelp, that's HELP.com/vagabond. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that there are a lot of things to do here. And if I stop to think about all of them at the same time, it's overwhelming. So I don't think about all of them at the same time. I think about one or two of them at a time, I complete a task, and I move on to the next one. And that in itself is just a really good way to tackle life. So with that in mind, I'll give you a sense of some of the projects that I still have left to do. Trust me, the list is very long. We'll only go into the most pressing ones here. All right, well, the work continues. Today, we're down here in the pond paddock, and this paddock was super overgrown because we were reluctant to put any sheep in here, because previously we had some rams, our neighbor's rams in here, and they just went straight for the trees. But we have some different sheep in here now, some smaller sheep, younger ones. Pretty incredible. They have chewed it right down to the grass, and we can actually move around in here again, which is really good. So what I'm doing now is back over in this corner, you'll see we have a lot of deadfall. These willow trees on our boundary, they lose a lot of branches and twigs and stuff, and it makes it quite difficult to walk around back here. So what I'm doing is I've piled together a couple of old stumps. It's kind of a drizzly day, but it's been sunny the last few days. So what I'm trying to do is just burn the stumps that are too hard to kind of cut with a chainsaw or an axe. And the thing with willows is if you leave a stump or a branch, it'll start to sprout again. Willow is a very fertile tree. It just keeps going and going. But if you don't keep an eye on it, it'll just take over whole stream beds, river beds. And so we don't want that to happen. We have a lot of cool plants, a lot of cool trees planted down here. And so we want to keep things organized. So what I'm going to be doing is just taking a lot of this deadfall, feeding it into the fire, and doing my best to just clean up down here. Well, it's been a few hours and this is still going strong. That stump is huge. I've built fire on either side of it and underneath it, so I'm trying to kind of burn it 360 degrees just to make this as efficient as possible. But big stumps need big fires. I'm definitely glad I'm doing this now though, because if this were all dry, I wouldn't feel very comfortable just with the amount of grass and trees and twigs. I must be hungry. But yeah, it's been a I don't even know, maybe 4 hours out here. And so I'm gonna hop inside and have some lunch and then come check in on this a little bit later. So this turned out really well, We burnt down quite a lot of deadfall, and this stump was absolutely gargantuan. I didn't manage to burn all of it because it started to rain pretty heavily, and I think it put the fire out, but we have a lot more here to take care of. And one of the things that I'm gonna do soon is I'm gonna go through this entire paddock. I'm gonna trim all of the trees, all of the deadfall. We're gonna take it right back here, we're gonna pile it up, we're gonna burn it again, and then once it's all burnt fully down, we'll reseed this with grass, and you'll never know that there was anything here. There's Wilson right there. Wilson. He's got new friends. He's a teenager now. Doesn't really like hanging out with us as much anymore because he's got a new group of friends. Isn't that right, Wilson? Do you see that large pile of wood? that was the playpen. And so we've disassembled it from over there, piled all the scrap wood over there. We salvaged a lot of wood from the structure itself, and we'll probably reuse that in other construction around the property. You kind of never know when you're gonna need it. Who is this? But that was kind of a good thing that my dad helped me do, and Carrie also helped. And then one of the other things we did when my dad was in town and my mom was in town was my dad and I cleaned out that back shed. There is a cement side that was obviously used for storing some kind of, maybe a tractor or something along those lines, but there had been livestock up in there for so long, it was just caked in sheep poo, cow poop, and so it was pretty gross, but we managed to scrape it all out, put it into our compost, and then I washed it down using like a car wash soap and a broom. And once we cleared that out, we put the caravan into the shed. So one of the things, the challenges here is, first and foremost, we want to be able to seal this off so that the sheep can't get back inside and make it all gross again. And then above, it looks like they tried to put some chicken wire or something like that to stop the birds from nesting up there in the springtime. It kind of gets pretty intense in the spring. Birds will find anywhere that they can nest. And if they're nesting right on top of the caravan, they're gonna be pooping right on top of it. So one of the projects that I need to do probably next week is I'm gonna get up along the sides. Here, I'll show you. I have to seal this top bit off with some bird netting so that the birds can't get in above and then poop on the top of the caravan. And you can see we've already kind of gotten a couple here, but this is definitely better than the situation where it was previously. It was very exposed, and this is much, much better. You can see that we tidied it up quite a bit in here. This big piece of wood was just sitting out exposed to the elements. So we're gonna put it in here and just kind of let it dry out for a while, because it's definitely still useful. But I think we're gonna put some wood across here. So this is the back of the sleep out, and you can see that when we first moved in, it hadn't even been finished painting. And you know, exposed wood is not good. Even if it's treated, it needs to have a coat of paint over it, or else the elements get in there. Moisture, sunlight causes it to warp and to split, and that was what was happening here. So I came in and I just added nails where the wood was really starting to warp, just to kind of bring everything back in line. And then I gave it a nice good coat of paint. This is looking a lot better after a coat of paint. You know, it being winter, there's not a lot going on in the garden other than this little patch here where we've got most of our, well, you know, broccoli family. I think it's called cruciferous. Anyways, our spinach is doing really well. We've got cabbage growing. We've got iceberg lettuce. There's more cabbage. There's kale. And yeah, over here, we have a very healthy bush of parsley. I always get parsley and cilantro confused, and I don't know if anybody can help me figure out which one's which. But this has been really good. Been using it in salads and just for garnishes when cooking. Some leeks here that I gotta harvest and eat. And then back over there, that's our asparagus patch. So you can see kind of just the beginning. Well, that's the end of last year's crop of asparagus. But this whole area is an asparagus patch. And come spring, we're gonna have a lot of yummy, fresh asparagus coming in. You know, I'm sure it's probably kind of bizarre for many of you because the majority of you viewers are actually based in the United States. But down here in New Zealand, today is the shortest day of the year. And I think that, you know, in winter, it's a time to take stock of where you are, to reevaluate plans and actions for the coming year, and to take care of yourself. And so I think that that is the most important thing that you can do at any time of your life, but especially in the winter. The days are short, the nights are long, and I do my best to just wake up in the morning and take advantage of the sunlight, and if the sun is shining, to get out into it and really just absorb the healing rays of the sun. So you know, it's difficult to talk sometimes, because, you know, having a platform and speaking to all of you out there, it's a delicate balance of, you know, how much to talk and to share and how much to keep for yourself and to keep private. But I wanted to say that my amazing grandmother, who is 89 years old and has been just a very steadfast, reliable, lovely, incredible addition to my life. She is currently in hospice care and is passing away. And she and my grandfather were just such amazing role models to their 4 children and 5 grandchildren. And I look at their lives and their values, and I feel inspired to take a lot of life lessons from them and their marriage. They were married for like 70 plus years. And yeah, so I mean, I think that it's important to know that these seasons of our lives, they go by quickly. And what I learn from these moments, especially when loved ones are passing away, is the importance of being present in the time that we have with important people in our lives. And when we are with them, to just be fully there. I feel really blessed to have, when we went and visited in California, we stayed with her for a few nights and we spent a lot of great time with her, and I feel blessed to have had such a great relationship with my grandparents as an adult, and having them in my life until I turned, you know, I'm 34 now, and saying goodbye to my grandmother. And, you know, I had my grandfather in my life until I was 31. So that in itself is a blessing. And I find myself just feeling lots of gratitude. Yeah, lots of emotions. And so this is kind of a video that jumps around a lot. We have been very, very busy and very active and achieving a lot. And I think at this juncture, on the winter solstice, it's a moment to just pause and reflect, to give thanks for the people in our lives that we love and respect, and have gratitude for the time that we got to share with them. So if any of you are going through anything like that, then just know that my heart goes out to you. Cook, if you're listening, I love you. You were a fantastic grandmother, and I could never have asked for a better one. So thank you. You know, with that, the sun is just dipping behind the mountain here, and I think I'm going to wrap things up. So if you made it this far in the video, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. There's more content coming very soon. Some more international travel content coming as well, and lots to look forward to. So sending you all lots of love, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.